فعن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إذا انتعل أحدكم فليبدأ باليمين وإذا نزع فليبدأ بالشمال ولتكن اليمنى أولهما تنتعل وآخرهما تنزع متفق عليه. Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu narrated that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, when one of you puts on his shoes, they should put on the right one first, and when they take them off, they should take off the left one first, so that the right one should be the first to be put on and the last to be taken off. Agreed upon, and reported by Bukhari wa Muslim. هذا الحديث في صحيح مسلم إلى قوله وإذا نزع فليبدأ بالشمال, and when he takes off the left one first. That's until here, that's where Al-Muslim rahimahullah reported. The addition, which is so that the right one should be the first to be put and the last to be taken off, this one is in Al-Bukhari and reported by Imam Malik rahimahullah and Tirmidhi. And some ulama said this can be even an addition to the hadith from the narrator. So the narrator trying to explain, to make a comment. And we call this in the ilm al-hadith idraj. But Al-Hafiz ibn Hajar rahimahullah did not agree with Ibn al-Waddah who claimed that, and he said no, this is from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. In ta'al, in Arabic language, it means he puts on an-na'al. An-na'al is referring to what we call today sandal. Okay? But that applies to anything that you put in your shoes. Sandal, applied to the shoes, boots, all this considered. Slipper, all this considered na'al. فَإِذَا نَزَعَ وفي رواية إذا خلع, when you take off. وَلْتَكُنْ, see, the hadith said, وَلْتَكُنِ الْيُمْنَى أَوَّلُهُمَا تُنْتَعَلْ. Let it be. That's a hina, for those who enjoy Arabic language or what I know a little bit about it. حرف اللام يأتي بمعاني كثيرة, has many different meanings. لا, the letter لا, ليكن. لا can be سببية. أتيت لأكل, I came to eat. لي, so the reason for me to be here is to eat. The reason for me here to pray. Okay? So لام تكون للسبب أو لام التعليل. Also, a lam could be an order. And one of the simple way to know if this lam, it means explaining why, or it's an order, you look at the tashkeel on the lam. If there is a sukoon on the top of the lam, okay, that means this is lam al-amr, it means an order. وَلَتَكُمْ مِنْكُمْ أُمَّةٌ يَأْمُرُونَ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ وَلْيَطَّوَّفُوا بِالْبَيْتِ الْعَتِيقِ. That's an order. But if the lam has kasra underneath of it, it became ta'leel, reason. لِيَذْكُرُ اللَّهِ. The reason is so they can make a lot of dhikr. Okay? So here the hadith, وَلْتَكُنِ الْيُمْنَى. Amr, it's an order that you start with the right when you put on your shoes, and it will be the last when you take off. So here, let's see some of the masail and rules and lessons from the hadith. Number one, al-ulama rahimahumullah said this hadith shows clearly that it is highly recommended when you put your shoes on, you put with the right hand first, with the right foot first. Okay? And this is, it's a very interesting, Imam al-Nawawi rahimahullah said, I looked at all the evidence in Sharia. Anything has adding beauty, you start with the right hand, the right side. Anything that is beautifying in it. That's why when you put your shirt, it's sunnah to put the right hand first. Your coat, you put the right hand first. Okay? You put your socks, you put the right one first. You want to eat, good thing. You basically, your right hand is right. You want to part your hair. You start with this side or that side? You start with the right side first. You see? So this is to purify you. Anything in the opposite, you start with the left. That's why entering the masjid is something what? Beautiful. You start with which foot?
Right.
Right. Enter the house. With the left hand. No, with the right. With the right. Okay? You enter with the right hand, with the right foot. Okay? So, the opposite, start with the left. You take off your shirt. You take off the left first. You take off your shoes, your socks, your gloves. You start with the left. You want to shave, you want to basically, shaving, it's a beautifying, or cutting your hair is beautifying. But for example, let's say, leaving the masjid, you start with the left. Entering the bathroom, you start with the left. Guys, من أجمل ما قيل في معنى ذكر الله, one of the most beautiful things about what dhikrullah means is to remember Allah's rules when it is required from you. So, what's dhikrullah? It means is to remember what Allah wants from you at this point, at this moment. You're aware of what Allah wants from you. Can you imagine what kind of level of awareness that you have, that even when you take off your shoes, you put your shoes, you walk inside the house, you walk out, you go to the bathroom, you're still thinking, Allah want me to put the right hand or the right foot or the left foot first. That's an amazing amount of connection with Allah. That's unbelievable. One of the things that touched my heart about Sheikh bin Baz rahimahullah, it is actually the same night when he died. He was suffering from cancer, abdominal cancer. And it was very strong, and he was suffering a lot in the end of his days, rahimahullah. The soldier or the person who was at his room serving him, he said the Sheikh in the middle of the night, he died, I think, before Fajr, like around 4 a.m. Around midnight, the Sheikh rahimahullah said he wanted to go to the bathroom. So he kind of put him on the bed to help him. So the soldier said, I went and I put the shoes of the Sheikh. And the Sheikh starts saying with a very weak voice. And I said, yes, na'am Sheikh. I didn't hear what you said. Then the Sheikh with a very weak voice, he said, start with the right. Yani, start, because I put the left shoes first. Then the Sheikh told him, no, take it off and start with the right. Can you imagine, like, in this moment, with all this, he's still aware of what is the sunnah is. That's an unbelievable amount of dhikrun lillah. Allah dhakir hadir fi dhihni. It's not like something somebody doesn't know. Yani, you, after he finished, and maybe he drank the tea and soda, and maybe after he burped, he said, oh, I didn't say Bismillah. Because it's not there. That connection is not strong. Anyway, Aisha radiallahu anha said, كان النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يعجبه التيمم في كل شيء. He loves to start with the right side. In his shoes, تنعلي, وترجلي, when he parts his hair, fix his hair, وطهوره, when he starts the wudu, or wash himself, take a shower, he starts with the right side. وَفِي شَأْنِهِ كُلِّهِ, in all his affairs, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. That's why, even in writing, we start, but that's in Arabic, we write in Arabic from the right side first, before the left. It's a whole culture. Anyway, Ibn Abd al-Barr rahimahullah did not like what some scholars said. Some scholars said if you put your left shoes first, take it off, then put the right. Now, of course, there's no need for that. It's just a sunnah, okay? Also, this hadith shows you it is sunnah to remember to take the left one off. And that also applies to the socks, okay? Men and women. Al-Qadi Iyad said, there is ijma', an agreement between all the scholars that it is only recommended to do this. It's not wajib, it's not sinning if you didn't do it. قال ابن عبد البر من فعل ذلك مع علمه بالسنة فبئس ما صنع ولا يحرم عليه ولا ينبغي له أن يعود لأن البركة والخير في اتباع أدب رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وامتثال أمره. Ibn Abd al-Barr said, and whoever knows and aware what's the sunnah to start with the right, but purposely didn't care and put the left first, that's bad. That's disrespect. He didn't commit a sin, but it is an offense. It is a bad manners. And there is no barakah in such person, because the blessings and the goodness in following the etiquette and the adab of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. I told you how Nawawi rahimahullah said that this is a good rules. You apply it in all things, okay? That anything has adding and purifying you, or like, you start with the right side. Then after that, if it's the other way around, if it's removing what is make things beautiful, you start with the left. Like for example, if I have a wall I want to decorate, I do that with the kids. Like if they have a party, you said start with the right side, and if you want to take the decoration down, also on the left side, and things of that nature. The next hadith, وعنه يعني أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لا يمشي أحدكم في نعل واحدة ولينعلهما جميعا أو ليخلعهما جميعا متفق عليه. Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu narrated that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, none of you should walk with one shoe, but should either wear them both or take them both off. Agreed upon, reported by Bukhari and Muslim. Al-Bukhari rahimahullah, his wording is the copy that we have. He said, لينعلهما جميعا أو ليخلعهما جميعا. Al-Bukhari said, ليحفهما أو لينعلهما من النعل. ليحفهما من الحافي يعني يصير حافي القدمين. طيب لا يمشي, none of you should walk. That's to forbade. Okay? لا هنا we call it الناهية, جزمت الفعل بحذف الياء. لا يمشي أحدكم. Also, it could be, according to Al-Bukhari, لا يمشي with ya, which is نافية, ليست ناهية, which also means to negate such things, which it means you should not do that. النعل, what you put in your feet to avoid harm from stepping on the ground. So any type of thing that you put your feet on, it's called na'al, as I said earlier. ينعلهما, okay? ينعلهما, both are correct linguistically. طيب. What's the rules that we learn from this hadith? Number one, it is disliked to walk wearing one shoes only. So, especially the young people here. One of the etiquette that a lot of people don't know, that is, you're not allowed to walk with one shoes on. Okay? And Nawawi rahimahullah said there is an ijma', an agreed upon this issue between the scholars that it is disliked. It's not forbidden, but it's disliked. Ibn Hazm rahimahullah and San'ani said, no, it is a sin. It is forbidden. But I don't believe that. I believe it's just not recommended, because usually the ahadith that talk about al-adab and etiquettes, unless there is something in the hadith shows you clearly it's haram, otherwise when the Prophet do or don't, it just as a recommended act, as Ibn Abdul Barr rahimahullah said. And Ali and Ibn Umar allowed people to walk in one shoes. نقل عنهما جواز ذلك. أن عائشة رضي الله عنها قالت لأخالفن أبا هريرة فيمشي في نعل واحدة. Aisha radiallahu anha, she said, I will not listen to what Abu Hurairah narrated. She doesn't believe that this is something the Prophet said. She said, I don't care what Abu Hurairah think. You know, I will walk with one shoes until Abu Hurairah changes his opinion. Why Aisha said that? Because she said that I saw the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam once he was walking and his sandal got broken from the back, so he couldn't keep it on his foot. So he walked with one shoe only, with one shoe. That's what Aisha radiallahu anha, she said, so she believes it is allowed, otherwise the Nabi will take both out. There is a debate over this hadith, if it is authentic or not, by the way, from Aisha. فقد كان أبو هريرة رضي الله عنه يعلم أن من الناس من ينكر عليه هذا. Abu Hurairah knows that some people will not agree with him when he said this, that you're not allowed to walk with one shoe. And there is a narration, Sahih Muslim, that Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu once ضرب بيده على جبهته. He did like this, okay, in front of his students. Then he said, إنكم تحدثون أني أكذب. You claiming that I made a mistake. كذب, it doesn't mean lie. Be careful. Because some people said, the Sahaba think that Abu Hurairah lying. No, كذب, it means what? أخطأ في لغة العرب. In the Arabic language, الكذب بمعنى الخطأ. ولذلك قال كذبت يعني أخطأت. It's a common way of talking. So he said, you claiming that I made a mistake. أتهتد وأضل? You're guided and misguided. أشهد لسمعت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. I bear witness that that's what I heard the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم said that. Because some people thought that this is Abu Hurairah's opinion. But it's not. And to the proof it's not Abu Hurairah's opinion, that Jabir said, رضي الله عنه, I heard the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم say, لا يمشي في نعل واحدة. Do not walk in one shoe. من طريق مالك عن أبي الزبير عن جابر, that النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم said, do not eat with your left hand and do not walk in one shoe. Okay? And Abu Zubayr also reported that Jabir radiallahu anhu said, if your sandal broke, do not walk in one shoe. Take them both off. Or fix your sandal. طيب. قال ابن عبد البر رحمه الله, I don't know anyone took Aisha's position that it is allowed to walk كده with one shoe. I don't know anyone said that Aisha, took Aisha's position that it is permissible. The ulama agree it is disliked. So why Ibn Umar and Umar did it? Ibn Abdul Barr said they might did it to show people it's not haram. But it did not to show them it's okay. They just want to make a point that it's not forbidden, but still it's disliked. Okay? Al-Qadi Iyad said, these narrations that suggested some of the early Muslim scholars or the companions or the successors walk with one shoe, it's an incident where they were walking with two shoes and one of the shoe got broken. So they were walking with one until they fixed the other one. Okay? Then they put it back. It's not haram. But no one initially could have come out of his house walking with one, or walking around with one shoe. No. Why? What's wrong with walking with one shoe? They said, it's interesting. قالوا شوف هذا كلام عجيب. It might sound funny, but it really, if you look deep, you'll be amazed by our scholars. تأمل يعني كلام العلماء. They said, لأن هذا من باب العدل بين الجوارح. يا سلام. They said, so you will be fair with your both feet. Wouldn't be fair, one foot protected and the other one is not. You have to be fair even with your own body. See? It's very interesting. You cannot purify one and not one. You cannot protect one and you leave the other one. You need to be fair with both of them. And also, another reason, they said no. Because if you go to walk with one foot has shoe and the other one no shoes in it, the way you're gonna walk is gonna look so funny. You think how people will walk with one shoe? Can you imagine in the desert, it's so hot, there's pebbles and stones and and thorns and stuff like that on the ground, and it's so hot, and you have one foot a shoe and the other one you're barefoot. How would you walk? Like you're gonna look so funny and people make fun of you. And they said that will be something not appropriate. That's why it's disliked. Or imagine one of these new shoes with high heel or no heel at all. You're like, you look terrible. Al-Bayhaqi rahimahullah said no. It was said dislike لأنه لباس شهرة, because it became something everybody, the one shoe guy, the one with one shoes, it became something that make you very famous and everybody talk about. And that's not correct. Some said because if somebody sees you this way, he would think that you are insane, majnoon. And some said no. The reason we don't do this, because this is how the shaitan walk. And they mentioned Hadith Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, reported by Tahawi في شرح مشكل الآثار, that the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Ash-shaytan walks with one shoe only in his foot." So from this we know something about shaitan, that he has 2 feet. Okay, and there is one, he wears shoes, and he likes to wear one and keep the other one barefoot. قول النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. So this is why. These are the all opinions were mentioned why the person should not walk with one foot, with one shoe only in one foot, and the other one is barefoot. قوله لا يمشي, don't walk. Let some scholars said you're not allowed to walk, but it's okay to stand up with one shoe on and one off. Okay? If you are going to fix your other shoes. So let's say something happened to my shoes, I take it off to fix. Do I need to take the other one off until I fix it? Or I can stand up like this until I fix it? Al-Imam Qadi Iyad قال, Al-Imam Malik rahimahullah said, take off the other one until you fix the one in your hand. Okay? He said, and if it's too hot to do so, okay, if it's too hot to do so, you can keep it. And if it is not hot, take both off. Ibn Abdul Barr rahimahullah, and this is the correct fatwa. Some scholars said, what about if you don't walk and you don't stand? You're sitting. Can you put one shoe on and you leave the other one? Let's say you go to your couch, you take one shoe off and you keep the other one. Are you sitting on your couch? الذي يظهر لي what appeared to me, the hadith is not about the walking. The hadith is not, the point is not walking or not, standing when the walking. المقصود في الحديث هو اللبس وليس المشي. The hadith talking about putting on is not about you walk with it or you're not. You carry it or you're not. You're on a couch or not, in a wheelchair or not. It's about basically you put on one shoes but you don't put the other one. And the walking was mentioned because that's the common thing. طيب. العلماء رحمهم الله said, this applies to any type of clothes you put on that made of pairs. Can you give me an example? Anything you put on that it pairs. Socks. You put one socks and you leave the khuf. You put one and you leave other. Another example. Gloves. So you put one gloves and you leave the other. Unless you're taking something from the oven. You can put one to grab. Because like talking about gloves, like you go outside with it. Pair of glasses? What about this one set of glasses? I don't know about that. No, that's a glass by itself. You guys have a lot earring. You put one ear and another, not the other one. What else? Earphone works both. I mean, some people use only one, but it's not meant to be both. And you can separate them. You all have it right now, other than your socks. All of you have it. Sisters and brothers. Pants. Can you imagine if you take one foot out and you have one pant, one only foot in, and you walk like that? Shirts, jackets, you put one hand in and the other one out. T-shirts, you know, you take your hand one off and you keep one. All this, ulama rahimahullah says, is not the same rule applied, dislike. The same concept. Okay? And Ibn Abdul Barr rahimahullah, he commented, he said, I'm not sure about the shirt. Al-Khattabi mentioned it. Ibn Hajar said, I'm not sure if that's applied to shirts or not. And San'ani rahimahullah said, I don't like to make analogy on this ahadith. I don't like to make analogy on this. So there is a debate over, can we make analogy on other things or not? There is a whole debate over it. I personally don't like to make analogies, so I don't see that the same rule to the shoes apply to the shirt or to the earring. I don't see. I restrict this only to shoes and what is similar to shoes, like socks or sandal. Because al-illah, for me, the reason is imitating the shaitan. The illah is not one, but not the other. So that's why qiyas is not correct. The reason for it is because it's imitating the shaitan. It's not because you have one in and one out, or one without. If that's the case, you can apply it to the shirt and the earring and so forth. But the illah is the shaitan walk like that. So that's why I said, or put his shoes this way.
It's medically, if you want to do something outside, medically when you're walking, it's not good for your, you have to cut it back.
Yeah, but sometimes the shoe is very thin. Yeah. But what if you break one of your foot? And you have to have a cast on one foot. Break the other one? No. You know, I have a friend of mine, Allah yadhkurahu khair, his name is Nasser. We were playing soccer in college, and he broke his foot, so I took him to the emergency room. So when I took him to the emergency room, Miskin, he broke it, like, he had a small fraction, so they put like cast on his feet. and I was taking him in the wheelchair to the car. You know, there is a ramp, and it's high ramp. I remember that in Lahsa, in college at that time. It's a very big, like, the ramp does go all the way down. I still remember that. So when I came out from the emergency room, I saw one of my friends who I haven't seen for a long time. So he came to give me a hug, and by the time he was giving me a hug, the wheelchair started moving in that ramp, and I don't have the brake. And my friend was screaming, and I was running behind him, and my friend running behind him, and Miskeen, he slammed into that dumpster. It's it's not even smart to put a dumpster in the end of the, he slammed, and he was injured so bad, I took him back to the emergency room, and they cast his hand. So when I brought him back to the dorm, the brother would tell me, we gave him to you with one foot broken, you return him back with a feet and an arm. I said, I have to be just. Anyway. Next hadith. عن ابن عمر رضي الله عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لا ينظر الله إلى من جر ثوبه خيلا متفق عليه. Ibn Umar رضي الله عنه narrated that the messenger of Allah said, Allah will not look on the day of judgment at him who lets his garment drag on the ground out of pride and arrogance. Okay? Agreed upon. This hadith, Hadith ibn Umar, reported in al-Bukhari. But there is a story behind it, where Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anhu said, إن أحد شقي ثوبي يسترخي إلا أني أتعاهد ذلك. He said, Ya Rasulullah, I have my garment. You know, in the old days, they have one garment, the lower garment, and upper garment. Sometimes long shirt and garment in the underneath. Okay. Sometimes there's nothing in it, just one long shirt. So he said, this garment that I have was not tight in a while, and not long enough to tie it perfectly. So what happened? Sometimes it will fall down, and when it fall down, it will drag. But I quickly tried to pull it up, so I'll not have my garment beyond my ankle. قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم إنك لست تصنع ذلك خيلا. And Nabi said, don't worry about it, because you don't do this out of pride and arrogance. Okay? So Abu Bakr had a concern after he heard this hadith that the person would drag his pants, or his ankle beyond his ankle, or go all the way down. It means that Allah will not look at him, that it's just something scary. So he talked to the Prophet about that. He said, don't worry, you don't do this out of pride. Reported by Muslim. La yanzur, Allah will not look at this person. Yani Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not look at him. And one of the meaning of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He has eyes and He sees and He look at His servant. And one of the meaning that this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when you look at someone, He look at someone, and that will be combined by His mercy and forgiveness and reward. And He might look at someone, but this look will be combined by His wrath and anger and take them to that punishment of the hellfire. Okay? So here when He said Allah will not look at them, yani Allah will not look at them the look of mercy and love and, and forgiveness and rewarding. Allah will not look at them. When? In the day of judgment or in this dunya? Could both be both. Both. هذا خطير جدا. That's so scary. That Allah in this life and the next He will not look at you a look of mercy. That's make you think, I need to know about this. I just can't ignore it. That's why Abu Bakr became something serious for him. I need to know what's the rules. طيب. But if you look at the other narration of Sahih Bukhari, it shows you that this hadith related to Yawm al-Qiyamah. I mean, why? Because Sahih Bukhari said, لَمْ يَنْظُرُ اللَّهُ إِلَيْهِ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ. He will not look at him in the day of judgment. Okay? Also, because the day of judgment is the day of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he will look with his look at people, and his look will be combined by his mercy and forgiveness. Like, جَرَّ ثَوْبَهُ, drag his garment. It means, يعني, you drag it beyond your ankles and reach to the ground. خُيَلَا, pride and arrogance. طيب. Anybody knows khuyala means? Can you think of any other word in Arabic very close to the word khuyala? Another word similar to it.
Sure.
Khayl. What else? Khayal. What's khayal? Imagination. What's the connection? Can you draw a connection between imagination and arrogance? Yusuf, what do you think? What do you think why the Arabs will use the word imagination to describe the arrogant person? Because the arrogant people think about themselves something which is not real. It's their imagination that they are perfect. It's their imagination that they are all that, but the reality they are not. That's why it's so beautiful, Lord. Khuyala. Yani you think that way. You think you're perfect. You think you're above the world. You think that you're, everything you have. But the reality is not. You think you're different and bigger and better than others. But the reality you're not. It's your imaginations. That's why they give the word khuyala, meaning khayal. Their own world. You see? So, anyway, وفي رواية مخيلة. طيب يعني كبر وعجب. إذا
Allah